Hey there, I'm back here with another review. This time it's the Hansshow full strip LED lighting for the rear taillights. Comes in this big box. It's fairly light. I mean, there's not much in it, but you can see from the packaging that they package it really well. They've got this massive amount of foam in between. They've got some instructions, but they do provide some instructions here, colored. So they individually wrap each of the taillights right here. It does come with 3 packages of wiring, so you do need to run 3 different wires. Looks like it comes with some black zip strips, so we'll need that as well. I wasn't sure that was coming in there. And then we've got the main bar that goes across the back. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox this, and then I'll show you some of the components, and then we'll go from there on the install. So here's everything that came in the box. We've got the main lights here. So this is the driver's side, and then the passenger side here, and this is that light bar that we'll be installing. So we do have all the things here, but I wanted to just show a comparison between the OEM one. So let's see, which one is this one? That's this one right here. So if we take this one here and we compare the two, you can see that this has like a tint to it as well. But one of the true benefits to this, a lot of people are complaining about this weep hole that's in the factory headlight. So what ends up happening is some moisture gets inside or some water, and then these get all fogged up, and a lot of people are having issues with that. Now, it's really not a problem, but people do complain about it. What Hansshow has done is, this is a sealed unit, so there is no weep hole in this at all. And it's smoke, so it's like tinted. So you can see that this one is somewhat clear, this one is not. These are gonna look really good on a white or black or even red. So it should look pretty awesome on my car. And we're gonna go ahead and do the install, but like I say, this whole piece here should only take about an hour and a half to do the whole thing. So we do have, you know, a couple big bundles of wire that we have to run, so that part's going to be the challenge. To actually take off these ones right here without doing the camera stuff, it really was like a 10-minute job. But anyway, you can definitely see the difference between the two. I prefer this, and I like the idea that it doesn't have that weep hole that the Tesla ones have. Okay, so before we get started here, we're just going to go in the car and we're going to power it off, and then we'll let it sit for about 5 minutes before we actually get started with it. We want to make sure that there's no power at the car while we're doing this process. One of the warnings that Hansshow does give is that you need to have all the connections made before powering on the car and testing the system. So if you plan on testing it before you have it completely assembled, then just make sure that all the connections are made prior to that. Now, it shouldn't take us more than an hour to do this. It'll take me a little bit longer because I'm going to be creating the video, but really these things, they're held in with just an 8mm nut. And so this one has 2, this one has 1. This can all be taken apart pretty quickly. The trim is all held in with clips, so it should just pop out all without any issues. So let's go ahead, let's get in the car, we'll power it off, we'll wait that 5 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and power off the car, but make sure that you have the trunk open. I've opened up all the windows. I've got my driver's side door open, so everything is good that way. And we're just gonna go ahead and hit the car. We're gonna go to safety, scroll down to the bottom, and we're gonna hit power off, and we're gonna hit power off again. And then we're just going to get out of the car and wait for 5 minutes just to make sure that it's completely shut down. Okay, so we're going to take the lid cover off first. It's just all you need is a pry bar like this. It's pretty simple. You're going to stick that into a spot. I usually do it underneath back here. And you're just releasing the clips. And then once you've got a couple, you can just pull it completely. Now don't let go of it, because there's a cable right here that you can see. It's right here that you need to just unplug. So it's just, don't grab by the wires, just pull right here. And there you go. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pull down this red tab. And then we're just gonna grab it with the other hand and just go ahead and just, you're pushing that way with it. And then it pops loose. And then right there, right here, is a 8mm nut that needs to be just removed. So I'll go ahead and do that. Okay, so now that we've got the bottom part done, which is there's a screw that we loosed right there. The nut was right there. So this part's loose, you can see. But there's clips on this side here. There's one on the bottom and one on the top. So what we're gonna do is we're just going to put this in here and then just turn it slightly. And then it just pops out. So that's all there is to it. This part's loose. So we're just gonna take the pry tool here and just put it in there and pop it up. There we go. Takes a little bit of effort, but there you go. So that's all there is. So you can see, like right here, they're just little clips like right here, and they pop into these two spots right there. Okay, so to remove the lens right here, we're gonna have to remove this, remove the speaker that's right here. And we're gonna remove this trim as well, and then there's trim up here that we'll be removing. So I'll go ahead and just start that. Okay, so now that I've got the speaker out of the way, we're just gonna pull back this trim here, and we'll also remove the bottom trim here. So again, this trim just pops up. Like so, and then it's out of the way. Okay, so now that we've got the nut and the plug unplugged at the back of it, we'll just remove this piece right here. So on the Model 3 it screws on the Model Y it's just pressed on. So that's another piece we just have to take off. And now that we have this loose, you can see that it flexes this way. It just needs to be popped off. So you have to pull from this side, because there's two pins back here, and then just give it a nice little tug. Like that. And there we go. I've pulled back and you can see we've got the one nut right here. We've got the other nut right there, and then there's the plug for the lights. So we'll go ahead and we'll just unplug that. So again, just pull the red piece out so it unlocks it. And then you're just gonna wiggle this till it uncomes undone. And just put that to the side, like that. And then you're gonna take the socket and you're gonna loosen the nut. Okay, and once they're loose, you can just go and spin them off. And there we go. So the back part's done. So now we're just going to go ahead and pull the lights off. And it's like, as you can see, it just moves that way, but there's the two pins. You need to pull this way. So, like that. And then it just comes off. Fairly straightforward. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and take the first one here. So just as a reminder, these two prongs go into those two spots right there. And all you need to do is run this wire through here. And then just line everything up into that one's in the right one. And it's in place. So we'll go ahead and we'll take one of these stoppers and put that in place. Screw it all the way down to the bottom. There we go. So that's the first one installed. All we need to do is put the two 8mm nuts on the back here. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're just going to put on the two 8mm nuts. So I would just do those by hand to start. Make sure that you get them in the right place so they're not cross-threaded. Then we'll just use so the thing that you want to make sure that you're just not over tightening them, because there's really no need for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll do the other one on the other side. Okay, so I've gone ahead and inserted the light. Now I'm just going to go ahead and put these nuts on it. Again, don't over tighten these, just snug them up. There you go. So the next step will be to run the wires. Okay, so a lot of people will run the wire from behind here up along this piece right here, and then bring it through and then up into the back piece there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run my wire down here because it's easy to hide there, and then I'll just go up through that one piece and then the same up there. So we'll just go through that process. Okay, so I've ran the wire along the edge here. I've just pulled back some of the rubber seal here for now, just to get it up. And then what I have done is I'm going to zap strap this along here, so it'll be hidden in there. But what I've gone and done is cut a hole in the rubber piece here because I don't want it sticking here. So I've gone and just put this through, and I'm gonna just reach through and grab it. I want to keep everything behind this panel if possible. And it's definitely long enough to get there. Probably too long actually, but I'll be able to pull this back at some point. And then I'm going to do the same for the second one. So the plugs are the same. Same thing, I'm just going to put it underneath the rubber seal. I'm only going to bring what I need. So at this point, I'm just going to stick it through that slot again. So that should be plenty. So once again, I'll just fish this up through here. So definitely long enough. And then we'll just go ahead and we'll run this along here. Fish it to this hole first, and back over to this hole. That's where those two taillights are going to be. And then this is the other wire that needs to be connected, and it goes from the left side to the right side. And this has an R on it, so that means it's for the right side. And does this have anything? It does not. So we'll go ahead and we'll fish these across as well. So bring this like that. So we have all these wires pre-run. There we go. So we've got the Hansshow wires right here, and then we've got the other wires. Everything else is in kind of like hiding, and then this is the wire for that. So I think at this point we're pretty well set to install the lights, but we just want to clean this piece up. So that's back in place. And then all we have to do is tidy this piece up. Again, let's leave lots of space right here. I'll go grab those zip ties. Okay, so you can see I ran the wire through this rubber piece right here. Just cut a slit in it. And then I zapped it down to the end here. And then it's just open here. And then it pops underneath. If you look right there, it pops underneath that piece right there. So this is how I see everybody else doing it. And then it's gonna be all hidden behind that piece there. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and install the left light and this bar and then the right light. But one of the things is I've got my car ceramic coated, so I need to make sure that so it has somewhere to stick. So use some isopropyl alcohol, just run it along that edge. We're just trying to make sure that we have some good contact here. Okay, and so now that it's nice and clean, I'm just going to use some adhesive promoter. Now they do give you some, but I have some 3M stuff that I use that I like, so I'm just going to use my stuff here. You're just basically putting it on that edge where it's going to be sticking. Again, you can buy this 3M adhesive promoter from Amazon. It's fairly expensive, but it goes a long way, or you can just use those little pads that they do provide. Because I'm doing this myself, I'm going to be using some painter's tape. It just helps hold things in place in the right area. So it's going to be going somewhere like that. Now we're going to go ahead and place this one right here. So we do have, so one of the things I noticed is this plug is for the Y, I believe. So we just need to take that off. So just take that off. And again, you're just gonna have to snake these through. Like that for now, and just let it sit there. Again, let's put some tape on it. Because the pins are holding it in place, this is not going to come out. I'll go ahead and put another nice long one on this side. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take off the Y plug right there. And we're going to stick it through the hole. And just for now, we're really just trying to stop it from falling on the ground. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this one right here, and what we need to do is just make sure we pull back a little bit of this so we get access to it. Again, we've added adhesive here, but this wire needs to go behind this light, and there's a groove right here that it's supposed to stick into. So for now, I'm just going to bring this over, and it will stick to the light because I don't have ceramic coating on it. So we're just getting it in place. Like that. And it's going to hold it for now like this. And we're going to take this wire and we're going to take this light out now. And we're going to stick it through that same hole. And then we're just grabbing it. So I just want to show right there is where the wire is going through. So it's just going to hold it in place there while we get everything else in place. Okay, so we've now got both taillights in place, and now we just need to put this in place. And so we have the two. Just pull this off a little bit. And we have the two tags that I told you to make sure you had out. And then you're going to want to just place this. So pull off a little bit. And then make sure that this whole thing can free float. Okay, so it's going like that, it looks like. So you're just wanting to make sure you get it in the right spot before you get started on it. Make sure that there's enough gap. Okay, so it looks good. So I'm just going to pull this out. mean, that thing's not coming off for sure. The next step is to test the plug in. So now it's locked. And then we've got these other two plugs. And we've got the cable from, so this is the long one. And all you're going to do is plug in the black to black and white to white. So black to black and white to white. So that's all the wiring that's needed on this taillight. And then I'm going to run it along the edge here to the other side. Okay, so we're down to the last piece. We've got the lights. So we've got a couple things. We've got the lights from the wires from the lights. This is from the left tail light. This is from the light bar. And then this is the other plug here. So you can't really mess this up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and plug the light into this one. Can only go one way. So that's locked into place. Then we've got this light gets the white one. And it gets this one right here. And then we've got the blue. So that's this one. And we've got one last one right here. Okay, so I'll just repeat that on the other side. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the cover on. I've tested it. It seems like the lights are working just fine. So just make sure that these white things are on here. And the first thing you're going to do is plug this back in. So it can only go one way. So it clicks into place. And then you're just going to line this up. Like that. So it's in place. And then you just snap it into place. There we go. So we know that it's working. I've had these Hansshow rear taillights for about a week or so already. I really like how they look. They look amazing. I've gotten quite a few comments when backing into superchargers asking me where I got them and how hard they were to install. So I got them from Hansshow. I've got the link down in the description. And they took about an hour to install, so not too difficulty, somewhere between a 2 and 3 out of 5. So let's go ahead and check out the videos I took. They look just amazing. Again, I have the link in the description if you're interested in purchasing them. And be sure to use my discount code BC Tesla Guy.